Good day, everybody. Today we will be starting a new topic, chemical reaction equilibria. So we have finished solution thermodynamics, mixing process, and introduction to phase equilibria, and this is our new topic. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge Ma'am Rowie Carpio as the author of the slides. And just like before, we begin with the question, why is this important? Why do we need to study chemical reaction equilibria? In our reference, Smith and Bannis 8th edition, the authors give a very good rationale for this topic. And the reason that this topic is important is because chemical synthesis is a major industry that produces products such as acids, ammonia, polymers, and pharmaceuticals through chemical reactions on a massive scale. And both the rate and equilibrium conversion of a chemical reaction depend on the temperature, pressure, and compositions of reactants. And sometimes they need catalysts in order to achieve reasonable reaction rates. And to understand how to relate equilibrium composition to the temperature, pressure, and composition is very important in exploiting these chemical reactions. While many industrial reactions don't really reach equilibrium, equilibrium analysis is still important because it provides us a useful reference point uh, to check whether a potential process is theoretically viable. And this is actually the topic of this um, of less lecture 7. So we will cover reaction stoichiometry, equilibrium criteria, equilibrium constants, etc. So another thing that's important about this lecture is that it connects uh, CHE 143 thermodynamics to the other chemical engineering disciplines like chemical kinetics, reactor design, and process engineering. So this will help you develop a holistic understanding on thermodynamic principles applied to reaction rates, heat and mass transfer, and other practical considerations. So let's begin by first reading the learning objectives. The first is we define the reaction coordinate for a single reaction or multiple reaction coordinates um, for multiple reactions and write species concentrations in terms of the reaction coordinates. We will demonstrate that later on. Understand that minimization of the Gibbs energy with respect to allowable changes is a general criterion for equilibrium of chemical reactions. Just like before, in phase equilibria, we also learned that phase equilibrium happens when the Gibbs energy is minimized. And it's the same or similar criteria applied to chemical reaction equilibrium. Next is define and compute the standard Gibbs energy of reaction and the equilibrium constant from tables of thermodynamic data. We will also demonstrate sample calculation of that. Compute the equilibrium constant for a reaction at arbitrary temperature using heat capacity integrals with standard enthalpies of formation and Gibbs energy of formation or standard entropies. Number 5 is solve for the equilibrium composition of a mixture of gases undergoing one or more chemical reactions. And then in the ideal gas state, using pure component fugacity coefficient for moderate deviations from the ideal gas state and using mixture fugacity coefficients for conditions where deviations from ideal gas state are more significant. So notice that we are still going to apply fugacity and fugacity coefficients. So we have not yet moved on from fugacity. Solve for the equilibrium composition of a liquid mixture undergoing one or more chemical reactions, including non-ideal solutions where the treatment must include activity coefficients. So also notice that we will be dealing both with ideal states and real states, just like before. And lastly, set up equations for combined phase and reaction equilibrium problems and understand conceptually how to approach a solution to the problem. Let us proceed to the first subtopic, which is on the reaction coordinates. And actually, this is similar with what we have learned from your CHE 142. So we can write the general chemical reaction as this one, as equation 1. So notice that we have um, we have v sub 1, a sub 1 plus v sub 2, a sub 2, etc. And there's an arrow sign, so just like a chemical reaction, and we have the product. So these are the reactants and the products. Where the v sub I, okay, so absolute value of v sub I is a stoichiometric coefficient, and a sub I represents the chemical formula. So there's a convention right here that we assign a positive value. Okay, so right now it's in absolute value sign because it's in the chemical reaction equation, but actually in the calculations itself, V sub I would have a positive value for a product or if it's a product, and it's assigned a negative value if it's in the reactant. For example, so we have this reaction, methane and water to produce carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Actually, this reaction is the first step of a steam reforming reaction, and we can also call this methane reforming or methane reformation. And the reactants are on the left side, the products are on the right side. So the question is, what are the coefficients, the stoichiometric coefficients? So for methane, it's negative 1 because it's a reactant. The same goes for water. But for carbon monoxide and hydrogen, um, it's 1 for carbon monoxide and 3 for hydrogen. So it's important that this is a balanced, the reaction is a balanced reaction. Okay, and for that reaction, what observation can we make? For example, zero point 0.5 moles of methane disappears. So that would mean by the stoichiometric coefficient, zero point 0.5 moles of water also disappears to make zero point 0.5 moles of carbon monoxide and 1.5 moles of hydrogen. So we can write the differential amount of the reaction for any species. So that is D and I. So the differential of Ni, where N sub I would refer to the amount of species I. We can write it as dNi over Vi because it's proportional to its stoichiometric coefficient. So the statement right here can be written as uh, dn sub methane, so the amount of methane over the stoichiometric ratio of methane, it's negative zero point 0.5, negative because it means it disappears, the amount disappears, over negative 1, that's the stoichiometric coefficient of um, methane. For water, it's the same, divided by the stoichiometric coefficient of water. And then for carbon monoxide, now it's positive because it means that the amount of carbon monoxide appears. And for hydrogen, it's 1.5 over 3. And all of these ratios would equal 0.5. Okay? And therefore, in general, if we take the ratio of all the species in the chemical reaction divide the change in the amount of the species in the chemical reaction. So that's these dn sub 1, sub 2, and so on and so forth, divided by their stoichiometric coefficient. Here, it's just equal to some value. And we define that value as d epsilon. So small letter epsilon, and we define that as the extent of the reaction, the epsilon, or the derivative epsilon change in the extent of, or the extent of the reaction. So rearranging our equation, so if this side is d n I over v sub I, we transfer v sub I to the hand side of the equation, we get equation 3. Okay. And what is epsilon? We define it, or we call it the reaction coordinate. Okay. So d epsilon is the extent of the reaction, while epsilon is the reaction coordinate. So we further explore the meaning of the reaction coordinate epsilon. It characterizes the extent or degree of to which a reaction has taken place. So that is how we defined the epsilon. It can also take other names like degree of advancement, degree of reaction, extent of reaction, and progress variable. So it's also known by these names. The specific name or the definition would depend on the specific application. And we also set it equal to 0 for the initial state of the system prior to the reaction. Now let's try integrating equation 3. Okay, so this is equation 3. We try to integrate equation. So the initial, for the right-hand side, we give the initial state as 0 for epsilon up to epsilon. And for the left-hand side, n sub io is the initial state of the amount of the species to n sub I. After integration, we get equation 4. Okay. So if we take the sum over all of the species, then the sum of n sub I is just equal to n. And that is equal to the summation of n sub io plus epsilon summation of the stoichiometric coefficients for each of the species. So we get equation 5. Simplifying, we just get n equal to n sub n naught, okay, n naught plus um, v times epsilon. So by the way, I am calling this v, but actually it's Greek symbol nu. Okay, so it can also be the Greek symbol nu. Anyway, let's just call it v. So where n right here is actually the summation of all of the amount of all of the species, n sub naught, or n naught is the summation of all of the species in their initial state. So that's n sub io. So summation of that would give you n sub o, n naught. I'm sorry. So n naught, and nu, or v, is just a summation of the stoichiometric coefficients. Okay. And therefore, we can relate the mole fraction y sub I of the species. So what is y sub I? It's simply n sub I over n for a single reaction. And this is equal to this equation right here, the rightmost side of the equation. So why? Because n sub I is just, let's go back to the previous slide, equation 4. Okay, so that's n sub I. And n is just equation 6. Okay, that would give us this ratio relating the mole fraction of the species to epsilon, or the reaction coordinate. Okay, so this is equation 7. Now, to understand this better, let's apply it to an example problem. Before I begin the problem, let me open the whiteboard. I'm now sharing the whiteboard. Okay, let's first read the problem. The following reaction occurs in a system initially consisting of 2 moles of methane, 1 mole of water, 1 mole of carbon monoxide, and 4 moles of hydrogen. So this is the reaction. It's the same reaction that we showed earlier. Determine the expressions for the mole fractions y sub I as a function of epsilon, or the reaction coordinate. Okay, let's first write the given. Okay, given the reaction CH4 plus H2O gives CO and 3H2O, H2. Okay. And we're also given the initial amounts. So let's write that as N CH4 not equal to 2, N H2O not equal to 1 mole, and NCO not equal to also 1 mole, and finally NH2 not equal to 4. Okay, so 2, 1, 1, 4. The reason why I write it this way is because uh, earlier we wrote the initial state as N sub I not. Okay, so I would refer to the species, and then not would refer to the initial state. So the initial amounts. And what is being asked from us is expression for y sub I as a function of epsilon. Okay, so basically this let me just shift to the lecture. So basically what's being asked is this one. I hope you can see it now. Equation 7. So that means what we need to do is to find these values: N sub I naught plus V sub I epsilon, um, times epsilon, I mean N sub naught plus V times epsilon. Okay, going back to the whiteboard. So let's do that. Okay, let's find those expressions. First, V or nu. Okay, hold on. Oops, hold on. Solution. First, uh, okay. We want to get V, which is the summation of all V sub I. Let me write that. Summation of all V sub I. And this is equal to, so again, what's V sub I? It's the stoichiometric coefficient. So if we check the reaction, the balance reaction, we begin with the reactant. So for methane, it's -1. For water, it's -1. For carbon monoxide, it's 1. And then for hydrogen, it's 3. So plus 3. And the sum is 2. Okay, so the sum is 2. So that is our nu, or V. Next, let's get n sub naught. Okay. So by the way, before we do this, I would like to write what the equation that we're aiming for, or copy paste the equation that we're aiming for. So I am going to move this a bit right here and then copy paste this one. Okay. Right here. All right, so this is what we're aiming for, this equation. So we get V, we get an expression for V. How about N naught? Okay, so how about N naught? Let's N naught is just a summation of N naught, N I naught. Okay, the summation of N sub I naught. Okay. And what is N naught? Those are the amounts at the initial state. Okay. Which are what we wrote earlier. So that is for methane, it's 2. Okay, 2. So no need to take the negative sign of um, n because these are not the stoichiometric coefficients. So these are just the initial amounts. So that's 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 4. That would give us 8. Okay. Okay. So that will give us 8. We simply added these values right here. Okay, what's the next step? So for each of the species, we get the mole fraction as an expression of as functions of epsilon. So y sub I, we start with methane. So let's try methane. So y sub I, y methane. So we follow this format right here. What is N-methane not? So this is N-methane initial. So that's N sub I not I referring to methane. So that is 2 plus V sub I. What is V sub I? For methane, it's 1, right? So it's 1 times epsilon. So 1 times epsilon divided by N naught. So that's 8 by N naught plus V. So what's V? We solve that. It's 2 epsilon. Correct? Okay. So let's move this a bit downwards. Okay. So that is for Y methane. Mole fraction of methane. Just rewrite it yourself. Remove the parentheses right here. But simplifying that, it's just 2 plus epsilon. Oops. Let me correct that. Okay, there's a big correction. This should not be positive. Okay, why? Let me remove this positive sign. Okay, why? Because the y sub I mean, v sub I is actually negative. Okay, so this should be negative. Okay, so let me simplify 8 plus 2 epsilon. Okay, next. Let's try this one for what's next? Water. Okay, let's try water. For water, y of water, again, the format is n sub I naught, and that is n sub I naught. What's the initial amount of water? It's 1. Okay, so this time it's 1 minus V sub I for water, it's negative 1 in the reaction. So negative, I'm sorry, 1 plus negative, okay, negative 1. So that's 1 minus 1 minus 1 times epsilon. So I'm not going to write the multiplying sign anymore. Okay. So again, this is 1 plus negative 1 times epsilon. Okay. Divided by n sub naught. So that's still 8 plus 2 epsilon. So notice that they would all have the same denominator. Okay, they will all have the same denominator. Because this one, n sub naught plus v epsilon is the same for all the species. Next is for uh, carbon monoxide. And this is the initial. What's the initial? It's 1, right? So this is 1 plus, so this time V sub I is positive. Okay? So for the reactants, it's negative. That's why it's negative here. But now it's positive. So um, plus V sub I, it's still positive. So I will not write the coefficient. 1 times epsilon. So that's epsilon. Plus, divided by 2 epsilon. Okay? And then finally for H2 hydrogen, the initial is 4 plus the coefficient is 3 positive because it's a product divided by 2 epsilon. Okay. So that's it. Actually, um that's the answer to the problem. Let me just square the answers. Okay, so these are the final answers, and this ends our solution for example 1. Let's go back to the lecture. Okay, there's another example. Let me just first copy paste this. Okay, let's read the problem. Example 2. Consider a vessel that initially contains only n knot mole of water vapor. If the composition occurs according to the reaction, this is the reaction, the composition of water vapor to hydrogen and oxygen, find expressions that relate the number of moles and the mole fraction of each chemical species to the reaction coordinate. So it's like the previous problem, but we are not given actual values for the initial state. We're just given that the initial state has the amount n sub naught for water. Alright, so let's write the given. We're given the reaction, the composition of water, H2O, to and 1/2 O2. So this is a balanced reaction already. And for water, H2O not is n sub naught. Okay. So required is y sub I as a function of epsilon. And just like the previous example, we'll be using this relationship or equation. Okay, alright. So we'll be using this one. Uh, so our goal is to get the value of V. Okay, get the value of V first. Just like this one. Summation of the um, stoichiometric coefficients. So for the reactant, it's -1. Then for the product, it's 1 plus 1/2. And this is equal to 1/2. Okay. And then what else can we get? Actually, that's it because for n naught, it's simply, okay, so for n naught, simply N naught. But let's still write that N naught summation of N sub I naught. Okay, summation of, and it's simply just water. So that's already assigned N naught. So we write the expression for each of the species. Let's begin with water. Okay, so water, what is N sub I not for water? It's simply N naught, right? And then, sorry about that, V sub I of water is -1 times epsilon. So that's minus epsilon over um, N naught. Okay, so that's simply N naught. Oops, why am I always writing equal? N naught plus V, so, or nu, summation of V is 1/2. Okay, so plus 1/2 times epsilon. Alright, so just make use of the pattern here. And that's actually it. That's it because they don't have the actual value for that one. Next is, what's the next species that it's, let's try for H2. Uh, N sub I not is 0. Right? Why? It's stated in the problem that initially contains only N not mole of water. So there's no H2 yet. So it's 0 um, plus the stoichiometric coefficient, which is 1 times epsilon. So V sub I, which is 1 times epsilon, is simply epsilon. Okay, so the numerator is simply epsilon divided by the same denominator. Okay. Then finally, uh, okay, is, so there's still space. Hold on, I will move a bit so we can make use of the space. Uh, okay. For oxygen, uh, what do we have? 0 again for Ni not because there's no oxygen initially plus V sub I, and that's 1/2 times epsilon divided by N naught, the same denominator, 1/2 epsilon. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is actually just the second part. Relate the mole fraction of chemical species to the reaction coordinate. Okay, so that's Y sub I. But I forgot that there's another requirement which is relate the number of moles to the reaction coordinate. Okay, so we can write that for as if we want to relate the number of moles of water to the reaction coordinate, we can actually write the fractional decomposition of water. Fractional decomposition. Decomposition of H2O. So what's that equation? If water begins at the amount N sub naught and and let's say it ends at this amount N sub H2O divided by its initial amount, that's the fractional decomposition of water. Okay, so um, but what is NH2O? Okay, so what is its ending? It's simply N sub I. Okay, so N sub I, which is the numerator of this first equation or the Y H2O, Y for water. Okay, so that is NH2O. Okay, so again, the fractional decomposition of water is the initial state of water minus N sub I, or since we're talking about water, it's NH2O. And what is NH2O? So it's simply NH2O not plus nu sub H2O times epsilon, which is just the numerator. So if we write or expand that, minus, it's just simply N naught minus epsilon, okay, divided by N naught. And this is simply, if we simplifying, it's simply epsilon over N naught. Okay, so this is the fractional decomposition of water vapor, and it relates the number of moles of water right here to the uh to epsilon, or the reaction coordinate. Okay. If the initial number of moles of water is 1, and then it means that epsilon is directly related to the fractional decomposition of water vapor. Okay, so epsilon is just equal to the fractional decomposition if n sub naught is 1. Alright, so that wraps up our example 2. Let's go back to the lecture again. Alright, next, multi-reaction stoichiometry. So what if we have multiple reactions? Initially, before, we only dealt with a single reaction. But if we're talking about multiple reactions, then we need another index for the reaction. And we can assign J, okay, as the reaction index. Okay, so I is for the species in the reaction, and J is the reaction. So if we have multiple reactions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in each reaction we have multiple species, so that's indicated by I, then we can write a different equation for our reaction coordinate. Okay. So again, if two or more independent reactions proceed simultaneously, we make use of a second subscript J. So the first subscript I is for the number of species, subscript J is for the reaction reaction. Okay. If that's the case, then epsilon sub J applies to each reaction. So each of the reaction would have its own epsilon or reaction coordinate. Of course, they do not have the same value for epsilon. So E sub J. Okay, the next is, what about the stoichiometric coefficient? Okay, so remember that the species may be involved in different reactions. So that's why for the stoichiometric um, coefficients, it's assigned two subscript, okay, I and J. So it means the number of um, the stoichiometric number of species I in reaction J. Okay? So I hope that's clear. Epsilon would just have one subscript because it's just referring to the reaction. So each reaction would have one epsilon. However, for the stoichiometric coefficient, so each species might belong to different reactions, so that it has both the subscripts I and J. Now, for the number of moles of species N, or N, it's N sub I, we can now write an analogous equation to equation 3. Okay, so let me just browse quickly to equation 3. So this is our equation 3 for a single reaction. Okay, but for multiple reactions happening, this is our equation, and it includes a sum for J. Okay, so we need to sum um, this expression for J. So if we integrate, okay, we integrate for n sub I beginning at n sub I, excuse me, n sub I naught. Okay, then it would give us this equation. Okay, so we integrated, if we integrate these n sub I, so it would give us n sub I minus n sub I naught. And then integrating this one, if we set the initial e sub j, okay, to 0, it would just give us e sub j. Uh, or e sub j equal to 0, or the initial e sub j to arbitrary, it will give us e sub j. And our equation will just be simply this one. So after integration. All right. Now, the next step to do is to take the sum for all of the species. Okay, for all of the species, the sum n sub I is just n. Okay, and then we also take the sum of n sub I naught for all of the species. And then double sum. Okay, so we have the summation for j and then summation for I. So this would just indicate that we are summing for all of the species. Okay? And what is the sum? Summation of n sub I naught for all of the species is just n naught. Okay? Um, and then for this expression or this term right here, um, it just means that we can first take the sum. Okay, take first the sum for all of the species, stoichiometric coefficients of all of the species, and then we can take the sum, okay, with respect to all of the reaction. Next, remember that in the previous slides, um, we take the sum of the stoichiometric coefficients of the species. We take all of the sum for that for nu, okay, or v, it's just equal to v. So we also demonstrated that in our examples 1 and 2. Okay, but if we have multiple reactions happening, okay, so we have to take or to get the sum of nu for each of the reaction, and it's given by this the summation of v sub I j, okay, with respect to I, okay, summation, if we take the sum of all the stoichiometric coefficients of all the species for each reaction, then we will have a sum for v for each of the reaction. Okay, so we can simplify equation 10. We simplify equation 10 into this one. Okay. So what do you notice? This expression right here was replaced by v sub j. So this one is just a summation of epsilon for each of the reaction happening. We also make an analogous equation as our previous one for the mole fraction y sub I. Okay. So this is how we write it. Again, it's n sub I over n. That's the expression for y sub I. And similarly, we begin with n sub I naught, but this time our expression would contain a summation for each of the reaction. Okay, so it would contain the summation for each of the reaction, and for the denominator, it's n sub naught plus the summation for each of the reaction. Okay, times times epsilon. Okay, so I hope that you can imagine what's happening to demonstrate this. Okay, so to illustrate this, let's solve a sample problem. This one. Okay, I will shift to the whiteboard again. Okay, everybody, I'm now showing the whiteboard. Let's first read the problem. Example 3. For multi-reaction system, consider a system in which the following reactions occur. So we have two reactions. One is both of them are for methane. The first one is this one where 1 mole of methane reacts with 1 mole of water. But for the second reaction, 1 mole of methane reacts with 2 moles of water. So this is common. It happens in a system. So there are two pathways to produce the first carbon monoxide. Next is carbon dioxide. All right. So where the numbers 1 and 2 indicate the value of J. So this is the subscript J, the reaction index. If 2 moles of methane and 3 moles of water are initially present, determine expressions for Y sub I as a function of E sub 1 or epsilon sub 1 and epsilon sub 2. Okay, let's write the given. Oops. Given. Oops. We have two reactions, reaction 1 and reaction 2. So I will not write them, reaction 1 and reaction 2. So just refer to the problem. Okay, so we have initially methane nat is 2 and H2O nat is 3 moles. And what is required is an expression as a function of epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. Oops. Okay. So solution, just like before, we need the equation for the number of moles. Let me go back to the lecture to copy paste that. Hold on, please. All right. So we have this. So we need this. This is our pattern. All right. So before we proceed, notice that we have two epsilons, epsilon sub 1 and epsilon sub 2, because we have one each for each of the reactions. Okay, and the first step, just like before, in our previous examples, we calculate for V sub j. So this time, not just V or nu, but we have to do it for each of the reaction. And the best way to do this is by tabulating it. So let me um, do a quick shortcut to tabulate since we already know that step, right? Hold on. Okay, so this is the tabulation of the stoichiometric coefficients B sub I. So the first step is to calculate for V sub j. And what we did was for each of the reaction J, so this first row is for reaction 1. Okay, so notice that subscript is J right here. Reaction 1, we have -1 for methane and also for water. And then for carbon monoxide, it's 1. 0 for carbon dioxide because the first reaction has no carbon dioxide. We have 3 for hydrogen. For the reaction 2, subscript J is 2. We have for water -2 and 0 for carbon monoxide, but we have 1 carbon dioxide and 4 for hydrogen. And when we take the sum Okay, we take the sum of each row, it would give us the last column here, which is V sub j. So if we take the sum here, it's just 2, and the for row 2 is also just 2, so it's the same coincidentally. Right. Next step. Next, we calculate for n nat. Okay, n nat. And what is n nat? Is just the summation of n sub I nat, and this is just equal to 2 plus 3. Okay, 2 plus 3, which are the initial amounts in the system for methane and uh yeah, methane and water. Okay? All right. So I did not write anymore the equation, but yep, so let's write that V sub ij. Okay? Uh let me check. Yep, it's V sub ij. And we're summing for I. Okay, it's important. So we're just taking the sum for I for each. I mean, we take the sum for I. We take the sum I for each j. Okay. What's the next step? We follow this pattern right here and write it for each of the species. Let's begin with methane. Let's begin with methane. YCH4. So N sub I not for methane is 2, right? So it's 2. Okay. And then we add the B sub j times E sub j. Okay, so I'm sorry, not V sub j, VI sub j. Okay, I'm referring to VI sub j. So, but what is V sub ij? Let me have a scratch paper here. So, V for methane 2. Okay. V for methane for, I'm sorry, 1 first, reaction 1. V for methane for reaction 1 is -1, right? Why? It's here, -1. Methane reaction 1. So what is V for methane reaction 2? It's also -1. Okay, very good to myself. Okay, so if we write that here, then it's simply -1 minus, uh, no, let's write plus -1 times epsilon 1. Okay, E sub 1 for reaction 1 plus -1 times epsilon 2. Okay, so I hope you got that. We iterated. So we iterated for the number of reactions. Okay, so -1 times epsilon for reaction 1, -1 times epsilon. So we do this for each of the reaction. How about the denominator? Oops. For the denominator, it's simply n nat. So that's 5. So this time, okay, this time it's V sub j. So this one, V sub j. So what's V sub 1? V sub 1 is 2. Coincidentally, V sub 2 is 2. So that means, okay, this is, oops, according to this equation, plus 2 epsilon 1 plus 2 epsilon 2. So simplifying, it's just 2 minus E sub 1 minus E sub 2 divided by 5 plus 2 epsilon 1 plus 2 epsilon 2. Okay, so this is for Y methane. Let's try for water. How about for water? For water, okay, H2O. What is Ni not of water? It's 3 given in the problem. Okay. So next step is what is, so there's no more scratch area. Let me move this a bit. Move this a bit here. Okay, what is V water for reaction 1? V water for reaction 1. Reaction 1, water negative 1. V water reaction 2, it's negative 2. Okay, it's negative 2. So when we go back to our equation right here, it's negative 1 times epsilon 1 plus negative 2. Oops, no negatives. Negative 2 epsilon 2. Okay, and then we have the same denominator. We just copy paste that. 5 plus 2 epsilon 1 plus 2 epsilon 2. Okay, so simplifying, it's 3 minus epsilon 1 minus 2 epsilon 2 divided by 5 plus 2 epsilon 1 plus 2 epsilon 2. So I hope you got the pattern. Let's do it for carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. The initial one is, the initial amount is 0. Plus, I not write anymore. CO. Okay, so that's negative 1 minus epsilon 1. But do we have an entry for epsilon 2 for reaction 2? We don't. But because carbon monoxide is just available in reaction 1. So we don't have to iterate for reaction 2. So this would just simply mean that for carbon monoxide, it's minus epsilon. It's not minus. Sorry, this should be positive because it's a product already. Okay, so please correct it. Right. Okay, so that is epsilon 1 over the same. Okay, let's put epsilon 1 in the middle. Okay, how about for carbon dioxide? Let's try carbon dioxide. It's 0 plus, let's put 0 here, indicating for reaction 2. 0 for reaction 1. For reaction 2, what's the, it's positive 1. So 1 plus epsilon 2 for reaction 2. Okay. Same. Denominator is same. So that is epsilon 2 over 5 plus 2 plus 2 okay. So finally, for hydrogen, H2, it's 0 initially, yeah. But what is the stoichiometric? So for hydrogen, for reaction 2, it's 3, positive 3. So, I'm sorry, reaction 1. Hydrogen reaction 1 is positive 3. Hydrogen reaction 2, it's positive 4. Okay. So, we 0 plus 3 epsilon 1. I'll just write directly epsilon 1 plus 4 epsilon 2. Okay. Divided by the same plus 2 epsilon 1 plus 2 epsilon 2. And then I'll just remove this part here. You know it already. Okay. And then Alright, so that actually ends our example. Okay, so I will just put a check mark. So meaning this is the final answer. Not I'll not box them anymore. So I hope you get that. It's the final answer, check mark. Okay. Alright, so this would give us the mole fraction in terms of as a function of epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. Let me go now. So it ends example 3. Let me go back to our lecture. Okay. Actually, I'd stop the video here. Let's just continue in the next video.